When you try me with a sorry receiver like Crabtree, that's the result you're gonna get.
Remember when wide receivers feared going across the middle? When the Seattle Seahawks secondary hit like a freight train? Yeah. What happened to that? For a few years, these guys weren't just the best defense in the NFL. They broke teams. Quarterbacks didn't just lose to them, they got exposed. Offenses came in confident and left traumatized. They embarrassed one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. On the biggest stage. They redefined how defenses played. They made trash talk an art form, and they were feared by everyone. And then, just as quickly as they rose, they were gone. The Legion of Boom didn't just fade away. They imploded. But why? What really happened? And where are they now? The Legion of Boom wasn't just a nickname, it was a warning. From 2011 to 2017, this secondary didn't just win games, they owned them. Built around four absolute dogs in the secondary, Richard Sherman, Cam Chancellor, Earl Thomas, and Brandon Browner, this squad was something different. They didn't just shut you down, they humiliated you. They were fast, they were physical, and they were downright scary. At their peak, they dominated the NFL. They won a Super Bowl, nearly went back-to-back. But then, everything fell apart. Injuries, locker room drama, front office battles. It all crumbled. But two names in particular had the biggest rise, and the hardest fall, Cam Chancellor and Earl Thomas. So what are they doing now? And will we ever see another defense like them? Before the Legion of Boom, the Seattle Seahawks defense was just, all right, no identity, no intimidation. But then, everything changed. From 2011 to 2012, the Seahawks quietly built a monster in the secondary. And at the heart of it, three absolute game changers. First, you had Cam Chancellor, a strong safety who hit like a linebacker, moved like a corner, and played like he was personally offended by anyone who dared to catch the ball. If you were a receiver running a slant route, you had two choices: catch the ball and feel pain, or drop it and live to see another down. Cam was the enforcer, the heart of the defense, the guy who made you second-guess your entire career. Then there was Earl Thomas, the human missile, a free safety who covered ground so fast you'd think he had a turbo button. Dude had range, faster than your Wi-Fi on a good day. Quarterbacks thought they had an open receiver, and then bam, Earl was there. No safety in the league played with more speed, instincts, and controlled chaos. The 2014 Seahawks defense wasn't just good, they were historic. And in Super Bowl Kelvy, they proved it. Peyton Manning and the Broncos came in with the highest scoring offense in NFL history. They had MVP Manning, they had Demaryius Thomas, Wes Welker, Julius Thomas. They were unstoppable. But the Legion of Boom, they didn't care. Cam Chancellor set the tone immediately. First quarter, boom, one of the hardest hits in Super Bowl history. And from that moment on, it was over. That play wasn't just a tackle. It was a message. We are going to hit you all night long. Sherman and Browner shut down the Broncos' passing game. Manning had nowhere to throw. Earl Thomas patrolled the deep middle like a shark smelling blood. Final score, 43-8. The greatest offense of all time crushed. The Legion of Boom didn't just win a Super Bowl, they embarrassed one of the greatest quarterbacks ever, and the world took notice. They had reached the top of the mountain, but here's the thing about being on top. There's only one way to go. At their peak, the Legion of Boom was unstoppable. But here's the thing about being on top. The fall hurts. And if we're talking about pain, there's only one place to start. You know the moment. Every Seahawks fan does. Super Bowl XOX, back-to-back championships on the line, and then 1 yard away. And instead of giving the ball to Marshawn Lynch, they threw it. A decision that haunts Seattle fans to this day. But here's what people don't talk about. That play didn't just lose the Seahawks a Super Bowl. It cracked the foundation of the Legion of Boom. Some of them never forgave Pete Carroll. Cam Chancellor later said that moment changed everything. The defense felt betrayed. The LOB wasn't just a defense, it was a brotherhood. But after that loss, the trust was never the same. Earl Thomas, he played through a torn labrum in that Super Bowl. Guy was literally holding his arm in place, but it was just the start of his injury battles. 2015, 2016, the injuries kept stacking up, And when a player like Earl, who relied on speed and range, loses even half a step, that's a problem. Meanwhile, Kam Chancellor, he wanted to get paid, and honestly, he deserved it. Dude was the heart of this defense, but the Seahawks front office played hardball. Kam held out, missed the first 2 games of 2015, and when he finally came back, the LOB wasn't quite the same. That us versus the world mentality that made them great, it was starting to turn into us versus the front office. By 2016, the cracks were full-blown fractures. Richard Sherman started battling injuries. The defense wasn't AS dominant, and then 2017 happened. Kam Chancellor, the enforcer, the heartbeat of the LOB, and just like that, he was done. A freak neck injury, the kind that doesn't just end seasons, it ends careers. And for Kam, there was no comeback. That was his last game ever. The Legion of Boom had just lost its enforcer, and without Kam, the end came fast. Earl Thomas was the last one standing, but even he didn't make it out. September 30th, 2018, Earl Thomas breaks his leg, again. And as he's being carted off, he does something that shocks everyone. That was it. That was the moment. The Legion of Boom was officially over. Kam, forced into early retirement. Earl, flipping off his own team. Sherman, already gone. And just like that, the Legion of Boom was history. But what happened after? Where did these guys go? And why did some of them go out in the worst way possible? Some guys leave the game on their own terms. Others, the game takes them. And for Kam Chancellor, the game didn't just take his career, it nearly took his ability to walk. November 9th, 2017, 1 tackle. That's all it took. And just like that, one of the most feared enforcers in football was done. Spinal stenosis. That's a big, scary medical term that basically means if Kam Chancellor took another hit, he might never walk again. Doctors told him, it's over. Kam tried to fight it. He held out hope. But deep down, he knew. In 2018, he made it official, retirement. Just like that, one of the hardest hitters in NFL history was gone. Now, some guys struggle after football. Kam, he took that same energy and put it into something bigger. Philanthropy became his new hit stick. He's been involved in youth programs, charity work, and mentorship. Because if Kam can't knock people out on the field, he's gonna knock down barriers for the next generation. And let's be real, dude still looks like he could strap on some pads and run through a running back tomorrow. But football wasn't the only thing Kam mastered. Kam wasn't just a beast on the field, he was smart off it too. After retiring, he got into business, investing in companies, launching ventures, basically securing the bag long term. From tackling running backs to tackling business deals, Kam Chancellor stayed winning. Absolutely. Kam's still seen at Seahawks events, still shows love to the 12th man, and if you ask him, he'll always be a Seahawk. He might not be out there crushing receivers anymore, but Kam Chancellor's legacy, that ain't ever leaving Seattle. Not every legend gets a happy ending, and for Earl Thomas, man, things got ugly. That was the last image Seahawks fans had of Earl, a broken leg, a middle finger, and a player who felt betrayed. But Earl wasn't done yet. In 2019, he got a fresh start with the Baltimore Ravens, and for a while, he was still that dude. Dude made the Pro Bowl. He was still one of the best safeties in the league, but off the field, that's where things got messy. 2020, training camp, reports start coming out, Earl Thomas punched a teammate, the Ravens, they weren't having it. Just like that, he was out. 1 year into a 4-year contract. No trade, no warning. The Ravens straight up cut him. For a guy with Earl's talent, that was unheard of. But teams were scared. Reports of locker room issues, attitude problems, and then...
Police say Ravens star safety Earl Thomas was held at gunpoint by his wife, Nina Thomas, in Austin, Texas.
Man, things got rough off the field. Yeah, you heard that right. In 2020, his wife allegedly pulled a gun on him after catching him in, let's just say, a compromising situation with another woman. The details? Wild, a GPS tracker, a confrontation, and a gun with no safety on. It was bad. After that, it was just one thing after another. Arrest warrants, legal trouble, divorce. The dude's life went from NFL superstar to full-blown tabloid material. By 2021, rumors started. Teams might give him another shot. But guess what? No one called. Earl has been out of the league since 2020. No team has touched him, and at this point, it's looking like they never will. In 2022, he said he wanted to come back, but NFL teams, silent. As of now, he's just gone. No interviews, no media appearances, just a quiet, almost ghost-like exit from the football world. Earl Thomas was one of the best safeties we've ever seen, but sometimes talent isn't enough, and now he's just another what-if story. The Legion of Boom changed the NFL forever, but their ending, man, it was anything but perfect. For a few years, these guys weren't just a defense, they were a nightmare. The Legion of Boom made offenses scared. Quarterbacks had nightmares. Wide receivers, man, they prayed they wouldn't have to go across the middle. And they didn't just dominate, they changed the NFL. After the Seahawks' reign, everyone wanted their own Legion of Boom. You look at defenses like the 2019 49ers or even today's Jets. Big physical corners, hard-hitting safeties, copycat league, right? But you know who didn't find another LOB? The Seahawks. And let's be real, they've been searching for it ever since. You don't just replace 3 Hall of Fame level talents overnight. Cam Chancellor, he left as a legend. His body gave out, but his reputation cemented. Earl, man, watching his downfall was rough. One of the best safeties of his era. But now, he's a what-could-have-been story. No matter how it ended, for a few years, the Legion of Boom was the baddest defense in football.
Don't you ever talk about me!
And if you watch them play, you know, we'll never see another defense like them again. All right, now it's your turn. Who was your favorite member of the Legion of Boom? Was it Cam Chancellor, the enforcer, or Earl Thomas, the playmaker? Let me know down below, and while you're at it, if you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more legendary NFL stories.